There's something really powerful about this moment. It's such a simple gesture, but after everything these two characters have been through, this handshake carries a lot of emotion. And that's what made me turn this moment into a poster. So here's how I made it.
I started by making the cutout of hands using the pen tool.
A pretty clean cutout here because these hands are basically going to be the main focus of the entire poster. Once I had them separated, I could start playing around with the composition. After playing around a little with the positioning, I finally landed on this composition. I wanted the hands to be the main focus, but I also wanted to leave enough negative space around them so I could build the rest of the poster. Ned's finger was looking a little off in the original, so I used the puppet warp to make a few adjustments and bring them into the position I want. Here's the before and after. Next was the background. I added a solid red color as the base. Then I added this background image that I found on Pinterest to add a little more texture to it. I added a little bit of white brush strokes and changed the blending mode to overlay to give the background some highlights. Since it's a Spider-Man poster, I thought this pattern gave it a nice suit-like feel. I then reduced the opacity so it stayed subtle in the background. Next, I started experimenting with few ideas to make the design feel more like an actual movie poster. I added the Spider-Man logo and played around with its opacity and positioning. Then I added this image of Peter and Ned to represent the friendship and bond they have shared throughout these 4 movies. But eventually I decided to scrap both of these ideas because they were just not working for me visually. And honestly, this is how most of my projects start. I don't always know exactly what the final design is going to look like. I just start experimenting, trying different things, keeping what works and removing what doesn't, until eventually it starts to feel right. After scrapping that idea, I focused on adding some shadows and highlights. I used curves to create more depth and contrast, and then I turned the image to black and white. Initially, I was actually planning to keeping it black and white only, but then I thought it's a Spider-Man poster, I have to give it a touch of blue, and surprisingly, it looked really good. For the final touches, I added this random building that I found on Google and placed it in the corner. It adds a bit of perspective in the composition and also help guide the viewer's eye towards the center where the hands are. I also gave the hands a subtle halftone effect to bring that comic book feel. After that, I added the final texture and typography, and to bring everything together, I finished it off with a camera raw filter. What started as a single movement from the movie slowly turned into this poster, and honestly, I think that's my favorite part of design process. You never really know exactly where you are going to end up until you start experimenting.
Peter.